Alright, y'all. Here we are. Back again. Back again. Alright, fam. We're in here. And we will get some of the fam back in here again as well. Okay, we want all sorts of issues tonight. Alright, that's fun. Well, this was a stressful game. Yeah, hope we got to figure it out. We're trying. We are trying. It's happening. But, yes. Get those comments back into the chat. And again, yeah, it'll usually be a lot more smooth when Mike's in here. But, alas, this is where we are. Yes, 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 yes. You know when you're just on someone else's computer and you can't really figure out what's going on, and yeah, that's which exactly what's happening right now. Yep.
Is everything going all right?
Yeah, not exactly. Your
You need to come back.
I think your computer did the same thing again, where it changed the.
What the heck?
I know. Oh well. You know, we're figuring this out.
Do you want to have just people come in and talk to you in person then?
We could try it, but I think we could do this. But yeah, you're gonna get furious.
I don't know how to solve that. Yeah. I don't know how to tell Discord to not make mistakes.
I know, right? Yeah. It was you know what? We're gonna BRB real quick.
You gotta do the same way the dog would. Hey, just get a paddle.
See, heavy.
Yeah, I got my second account going.
What is happening?
I have no idea. No, I have no idea what it is. I honestly have no clue. I've run into this problem before, but I was able to fix it, and for some reason this time it's not letting AJ fix it. I don't know why. And it shouldn't even have this problem to begin with, so.
Be careful there, you hurt yourself earlier. Yeah.
Okay, I think we have some progress. Here we go. Boom, boom.
Okay.
Boom. Alright. Alright, y'all. I think we're looking much better. What do we got? In the chat, it says, Welp. And Austin says this was a stressful game. Gavin says, hope y'all got it figured out. A win is a win, says J-Mag. But yes, very stressful game. Bryant Lee says, I blame it on Frank bad pass to the back of the line. Austin says, I was going to be furious in the Instagram comments, but this does put us in first place. Now we're still third. We're still third. But Bryant also said, should have been 2-0. Yep. Alright, well, we're in here. We have Michael West, birthday boy. And, yeah. Let us know your thoughts.
Hello, here we are. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll just start off. I got a couple of people here who want to give their opinions. But yeah, thanks for the happy birthday wishes. That was an exciting end of the game. Wasn't super exciting apart from the very beginning of the game,
Mm-hmm.
where Giakoumakis made his presence known once again, as he seems to be unable to not do every game. And
Yes.
yeah, I'll take a seat. That's okay. So I mean, this is kind of a theme that's been going on with the last couple games. When we haven't looked great, is we start out strong, we kind of take our feet off the accelerator, and we run into some issues. Other teams capitalize, and we are ending up with conceding, or in the latter parts of matches, like throwing games, and that's obviously not good. That's something Pineda said he's been trying to work on to try and help the team get better at handling those situations, not switching off at the end of the first half or the end of the second half. That didn't seem to be necessarily the case in this game. However, you did see intensity drop off from the midfield and from the defense. Basically, after we scored the first goal. And we need to have that intensity the entirety of the game. Can't just be, once we're riding on a high, we get one in and then we can kind of coast. That's just not the way we should do it. There's been other games where we've, put the team to the sword after we score one goal. We keep pressing. Charlotte comes to mind. But for whatever reason, there are some games where so inconsistent, not able to just keep pushing some games. Some games you can't. I mean, you can, obviously we're playing another team. The other team has a say in that. They can say, well, you know what? No, we're just going to step up our game now because you scored on us. And, that's fair. That's fine. But we need to find ways to get around that. So, it's the gameplay overall was frustrating to me. We'll take 3 points because we have to at home. You have to do that. The recipe for success is tie away and or win, obviously, if you can, if you're LAFC or something like that. But or get 3 points. So, that's my take on it, and I'll hand it off to the next person. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, something's... Yo. It is what it is, but just keep talking. Let us know your thoughts.
So no camera, good.
Yep. Aye. This is bundles of fun.
We're making it work however we can.
Yep.
So this is Dennis, and my take on the game. It was a good game. For me, it was a bittersweet game. I'm from Chicago, big Fire fan. So seeing them lose was kind of rough, but I don't know if it was what was more rough, watching Chicago lose or the way that Atlanta just kind of was letting that game slip away from their hands. It was, I mean, you had to score in the very last minute of the game to win. I think it's unacceptable. Your defense should not be looking the way it was. I mean, they were giving the ball away. There was opportunities where Chicago had an opportunity to score where they shouldn't have, and I think that's what's going to bite them at the end. Very good game, but lackluster, just like it was last game. They scored in the very beginning. They started hot, pressuring up front. Now we're on TV. Good, I can see me. All right. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I mean, even when they were doing the replays, it was Atlanta's goal and then Chicago. The rest of the replays until the very last goal that Atlanta had. And I mean, that's just unacceptable. It should not be like that. If you want to win a cup, if you want to win this league, you cannot do that. Absolutely not. You have to maintain form. You have to maintain possession all 90 minutes. I mean, the game is 90 minutes long. You have to play that long. I know there's a lot of guys out there that are 60 minutes, 70 minutes. And they gotta put them out. No, they need to start conditioning for 90 minutes, because if that's what's gonna keep the rest of the season, what's the point? Honestly, you're not best players 50 minutes and then their subs game. I think they need to address that, and they need to address that soon because, I mean, it's only going to get harder from here. But next week they have Nashville, I think.
Yeah,
that's what they have.
This weekend we have.
And
Nashville.
it's only going to get harder from here. And it's only going to get harder. I mean, this game was an easier one. Chicago, middle of the pack team. They're 10th place now, so I didn't really expect much. But you can't let these games, you can't wait until the last minute to win. You have to take advantage at the very beginning, like you're doing now, and keep their foot on the gas. They cannot let up. And so that back half, that defense is really, really the concern.
Oh, lost you for a second, video wise, but
Are we good now?
But I can still hear you. There you go. You're good. You're good. But
Okay.
yeah, definitely some great points there, and I think it's something that it just keeps happening. We see Gonzalo Pineda's teams capitulate late, and it's something that's he said he was working on this the past training sessions, but it's still, I mean, it's shaky defense at the back when we really need it, and luckily we were able to kind of do the business and get away with some really sloppy and poor play throughout the match. I think what'd you think in terms of like who actually deserved the points?
I mean, to be honest, I would have been okay with a tie just because the way Chicago was going after it, they were chasing the entire game, and really how Atlanta was just lackluster the entire game. I mean, they weren't pressuring, they were letting Chicago play inside their box. It was sloppy play from Atlanta after the first goal, and the fact that they got away with 3 goals is just really, really because of luck. And I mean, you could see it because it was even an own goal. It was just really hard to watch. I guess my adjustments would be if you don't have your players able to play the full 90, put them in the second half. Let them play the second half. That's 45 minutes in the second half where they could fight and battle for the game. Right? But don't put them in the beginning and then score 1 goal and then you're like, okay, yeah, we got this in the bag, and then just call quits. No, don't do that. You're gonna suffer in the end. So that would be my adjustment.
Well, I mean,
but
one could argue that it worked out for Gonzalo Pineda tonight, and that's that early lead, right? It worked out. He could take off his guys that needed some more match fitness to be able to finish out games, and but is that really the issue, or is the depth the issue in that the drop off is that large when we have to take off guys that we need a fluky kind of goal to get all 3 points against a side that's, like you just mentioned, 10th in the league.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The level of each player is different and drastically. So, I mean, you got your starting 11. They play well. Once you start substituting guys, those substitutes have to render the same amount as a guy they're replacing, and that's the problem. They're not at the same level. They need more time. They need more practice. They need more touches to the ball. So Atlanta has that issue. I think if they could address it and address it soon, I think they should have a solid squad to where they're able to interchange parts. But as of now, they're not there yet. So they are with a starting 11 and no backups.
Yeah.
So they have to go into the season knowing that. And, I mean, it's rough because somebody goes down with an injury, which we saw. It changes the dynamic of the team. Right? It devastates the team. It devastates their mental. So it changes the dynamic of the team, the way the team plays. You see it on the field. They are not attacking the ball. They're not defending well. They're leaving spaces wide open. They're bunching up together.
Yeah, people were hiding.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
People were hiding. That's for sure. In terms of players on the pitch, there wasn't exactly the most energy that we saw. There's Baby Weiss right there, and but yeah, it's definitely that's symptomatic, I think, of most MLS clubs anyway. But for someone for a club that can handle so much of that, like financial, any sort of issues, we can throw money at it and be okay. That the team building the roster is a little underwhelming once you get past 12 or 13, and I think that's where a lot of the issues arose today probably. But within the game, in terms of man of the match, who do you think deserves that nod for you tonight?
Oh man, their goalkeeper really in the second half, he had those amazing saves. He really kept the game in check.
Yeah,
I mean,
Clement Jupp.
Chicago had 3-4 clear ones. I think he knocked one to the side. He saved Atlanta a few times. I mean, outside of the goal, which really wasn't his fault, but for me, he was the man of the match. I couldn't nominate another player other than
Jupp, yeah.
Yako, who's scoring. It was just a lackluster game. It really was just Chicago trying to score, and Atlanta was just like, go ahead, do what you got to do. We'll figure it out in the last minute. So for me, yeah, the goalkeeper, absolutely amazing saves. Came in. I know the other keeper had a leg injury, a right leg injury. So I mean, he came in ready to play. So my nod is for him, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, and so credit does go to the front office for at least making that a non-issue to the degree when Brad Guzan, he goes out. Well, you have Westberg, you have Jupp, who are both very experienced MLS keepers. So that definitely tonight was able to we were able to kind of at least weather some storms that we very much experienced. But well, in terms of I guess future looking a little bit, in terms of Wednesday, in terms of Saturday for the matches, I mean, it seemed like Pineda maybe had Wednesday in mind with the substitutions, but would you start a full strength starting 11 on Wednesday against a side that's a level below and in the U.S. Open Cup?
I mean, it's a cup game, so at this point, I would figure out what's the best plan. Do I start my starting 11, or do I do some adjustments? For me, if you really want to win that game, go for the adjustments. Put my starters in the second half, and let them play from there. Give them a little bit of extra resting time, and get them prepped for the game. I mean, it's just really hard when you don't have a lot of depth in your lineup. It's just really hard. So I get it on his side. I understand. It's hard to manage a team when you don't have a lot of resources, and so it makes it just that much harder to figure out. And especially when you got games coming up relatively soon after another. So I can only feel for him. But that would be the way I would manage it. Put some of my good players up front and start substituting them in the second half. Have my starting 11 in the second half. That way, we don't have what happened today happen again. And like you said, it's a weaker team. We should win. We should get an easy victory. But I mean, you just never know. We could only assume and guess. But that would be the way I would do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right. I mean, it's one of those. Gonzalo Pineda pretty much took off the front four well before any of the stuff started to happen with the Chicago Fire. So it makes sense. I mean, it's probably the route. We'll find out, of course. But yeah, Danny, have any final thoughts on this match?
Yeah, man, I really wish he didn't do what France did in the World Cup. Take off their strikers and put some newbies in there and let them play. I mean, yeah, it's not the World Cup final, but it is important. These games are important, especially if you want to win. I mean, they're in third place right now, I think. And it's if you want to be up there in the top 5, top 3, I mean, you can't waste opportunities. You can't take off your star players. You got to figure out a system that's going to work for the long run. So they have to get that down to a pad like now, like today. They have to figure out what do they need to do, what do they need to change. Yes, you got the result today. Great. Celebrate it. Enjoy it. It's a great morale booster in the locker room for sure, especially coming off that tie with Toronto. I know it was pretty rough, but you got to look forward and you can't look back. Enjoy it and just make the best of what you got. So that would be my take, and that's my final thought there. Appreciate you guys having me on. It's always fun talking to you guys.
As always.
My friend over here. He's going to give us one.
Okay.
No technical difficulties, all right?
All right. We're trying not to, of course, but it might rear its ugly head. But hey, bud. So before we get into it, we will read some of the chat. So some more happy birthday love for Michael. And what else we got? We got hey.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Hey. But yes, Gavin says if we played a better team, we would have lost because those turnovers were just ridiculous. A hundo on that. And Bryant says, like I said, it was just that bad pass from Ibarra. If it wasn't for that play, we would have been good. Shaky defense because we had to sub in our players. And Gavin also mentions games like these happen every year. I think we'll be fine, and those 3 points are huge for us. And Bryant says, we can complain all we want, but we won. We got 3 points. Bryant says, also start the 11. Get the first couple of points, then if we win, we can adjust. Or if we're winning, I would assume that's what you're meaning. But yeah, all right. How is it going, my man?
Guess you can win by a second, or you can win by how is the saying from Fast and Furious? You can win by a second, or you can win by 10 seconds. Either way, you still won, right?
We talk about family?
No, I don't agree with that on this.
We talk about family here?
Exactly. Yep.
I mean, we did the barbecue.
Yeah, so, hey,
we did the barbecue today, so.
That's true. Yeah. We did a good barbecue. That's very true.
Dude.
So I have to say this is one of my first times I've actually watched a full Atlanta United game. I personally don't so I'm going to tell you guys from the beginning, right? I watch a lot of other stuff. I'm from Brazil, and I watch, I used to be a PSG fan, and PSG doesn't do anything, so I can't follow PSG anymore. And it was interesting watching MLS games, especially Atlanta United. And, I'm going to come out right and say it, and my top question is here because I was looking at the stats, and coming into the first half, I'm even looking at it now. The possession was 60% on Atlanta United, and the second half, the possession just dropped like crazy. And I really have to ask myself where, what point is it like a managerial thing that there was an issue coming out the second half that Atlanta just looked like if they flipped the switch. Like it's just like, okay, we scored a goal, and now we're just gonna defend and chill, not even care. I can understand trying to defend and doing that and working around trying to counter attack, but they completely parked the bus and were just taking it. And it was really sad to mostly see them just kicking the ball back out of their back, giving it back to Chicago to just attack again. And it was just a constant thing. It was just disappointing to see that happen. So I wonder myself, where did the major come in that all of a sudden it came in? The first half, they were pushing, they had possession, they were, and then the second half, it was like they just almost like they just gave up and they're just playing around. You know? It's really interesting to see that. And for me, I feel like Chicago played way better. I don't think I got disconnected for a second. To me, it looks like it's Chicago had a better chance of winning than Atlanta did. And that goal, that last minute goal, was really lucky. Not that I'm not happy that it happened because I'm wearing an Atlanta United jersey, and but it was a very lucky goal. So that's pretty much how I feel about how this game turned out. That's mostly my thought on it.
Yeah, and I think you bring up some great points in the levels of energy dropping off and switching off as well from
I wonder
obviously
if
the defense.
AJ, can you still hear me there?
Yeah, I can hear you. So yeah, and I think a great point that you made is essentially the energy levels.
There's a delay, yeah.
There's a bit of delay, but yeah.
He's talking, I can't hear him.
So in that second half, obviously they're not pressing as hard, and I think you're probably seeing a lot of the guys have an eye on Wednesday, in which that's why they parked the bus. That's why they have just a big drastic difference in what we're doing and what we're trying to do, especially with the first team players coming off. So it's not an excuse, but it's obvious that LA United, the level of play was not the same in the second half, and we almost gave it away. We almost gave them at least, with the leveler. They probably could have gotten more, but ultimately we were able to do enough. But in terms of who you think maybe should have gotten the man of the match, was there anybody in particular that stood out for you?
I feel like two people that stood out in the game, and Shaqiri was really interesting to see him. He was a lot more of a playmaker, getting some good passes into the half, into the goal, into some good crosses in and stuff like that. He was a great playmaker, but for me, it had to be the Atlanta United goalie that came in the second half, for an injury. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely came in hard and just took charge and had a really good save. I think he had like 5 saves or something like that in the second half alone. So I think he definitely deserved man of the match, especially for the Atlanta United side, because when you have a lackluster defense that's just giving away the ball, passing the ball back to the other team, and just giving it away like that, then the goalie was basically the one person that came back and was able to actually save it. So that's for me the main person.
Yeah, so Clement Jupp, definitely, when he came in, I mean, even if the play was called offside, which it was a couple times, but I mean, the 2 times that he was called upon where it looked like a certain Chicago goal, and able to just make a brilliant stop, play to the final whistle. That's exactly what was needed in this match for sure, because it very well could have been a different scoreline tonight, and luckily it wasn't. And anybody who went to the game, luckily then went home happy, because I would have probably hated to have gone to that match, pay for that, and see that level of play. Oi. Which, I mean, I guess technically we did, but yeah, man. In terms of I guess entertainment value in this match for you, since you don't watch a ton of Atlanta United games, as you said, like what was the feeling like watching that from an entertainment value standpoint?
It was pretty entertaining. I think like I said, it was just a little depressing. It's always depressing to see a team just kind of turn off and just kind of like give in and not try anymore. Which is really what I felt like I saw. Which is, it's just sad seeing any team do that at any point. But at least and to give credit to Chicago, they were at least trying really hard and still going for it, the entire time. But definitely there was some value into the entertainment of it. It was really fun to watch. And it was entertaining for sure.
Okay, good, dude. I mean, you don't have to just say that. I mean, if it was garbage for a little bit of the time, I mean, it was a bit garbage. Let's be honest. So it's fair if you got some you derived some entertainment from it, but yeah. So let's see, what else are they saying in the chats? Yes, I agree. They parked the bus. We switched to a different formation in the second half. And okay, but yeah, thank you, man. And we got our next homie here. We're passing around
let me add to the. Let me put him on the Wi-Fi real quick.
All right. Yeah, it'll be much better. Thank you. Yes, hopefully that can help any of the residual issues here. But here we go. Yeah, we have a really ridiculous avatar to go along with that, but yep. All right. I kind of like it. It's like a dunce cap is being used as a or a book is being used as a dunce cap or something. I don't know, but anyway, this match here. What else? What other thoughts do you guys have? Let us know in the chat. But you guys remember to do all the things to help us out with the algorithm. We appreciate you, as always, of course.
All right. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you. I can see you. Indeed.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to my pal right here.
All right. Okay. All right.
So
what's up?
Stripe fan.
Yeah, but let us let the good people know what your name is, so that.
Name is Ellie.
Ellie.
I've been following Atlanta for pretty much since 2014. It's been an interesting ride. I will say I haven't been watching this particular year every game or this season. And I'll give you guys the point of view of somebody who came in also late this game. Seems like you guys are getting a good array of opinions here. I came in, in the last 40 minutes of the game, minute 60 something, maybe a little bit earlier than that. And that's the perspective that I'm coming into this game with. So just right off the bat, right, first reaction, the game didn't look great. Not at minute 60. I mean, there were maybe a couple of chances here and there. And I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier with the previous Stripe fan member, but it wasn't exactly, at least looking at it from minute 60 and on, it wasn't exactly a great game. I mean, Atlanta United was falling back basically when you sub out two of your best players, and you leave it to a Hail Mary of, we just hope we can defend better. It's gonna go really one of two ways, man, and I mean, fortunately for us, we managed to get that last minute goal, but it could have very easily gone the other way. I mean, the stops that the goalie was able to make, the offside calls that, thankfully they were offside, but they got super close after minute 70, and it wasn't something that, I mean, we could have held off for much longer, right? I mean, it could have easily been 2-1 the other way. I didn't see the first half, but I'm sure they had their chances. I saw some of the stats, reviewed some of the stats after the game ended, and you could just tell, just looking at the stats, right, that Chicago was, they were going into the game pressuring a little bit more in terms of they went in with a little bit more energy in terms of having more shots than Atlanta did. They had more fouls. They had more, offsides. They had less passes, sure, than Atlanta. We might have moved the ball better, a little bit more. But it just tells you the intensity that Chicago was sort of playing with, right? Which is, it's something that we're used to seeing in the older Atlanta teams that we're just not getting as much here. But yeah, I mean, overall, man, 40 minutes of kind of scary crap, hoping that they wouldn't score a goal on us, and just that Hail Mary of we hope that we can get one in the last minute. And it's happened previously in the season, and it's great. I mean, not many teams can do that. You can count the amount of teams that can come in the last minute and score a goal, and I can think of one off the top of my head, and that's Real Madrid, right? Obviously, this is not a comparison, nowhere near it, but I mean, it does speak to the team as well, like in terms of there's some energy in there, right? There's you can tell the players want to win. They have that will to win, but you can't just wait for the last couple of minutes and hope that that's when everybody comes in with the same level of energy.
Yeah.
You got to have it all about the game. And that's my take in 40 minutes, man. That
And this is the thing.
Game, low energy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, we can't really expect this to happen every single time we cough up a lead, or if we need to get late game winner, because it's unsustainable. It really is. We saw this last season as well, in which we were able to rescue some points or get a game winner inexplicably, and those make for fantastic entertainment moments, and it justifies why you watch the game. But in terms of future planning and things that you can repeat, it's not something you can. And I think that's exactly your point, is that Atlanta United, we do need to shore up a lot of things here, to just be winning these games a little bit more comfortably, because it is a team that we should beat, but we made a meal of it, and we had to, really pull it off late. But in terms of, I guess the sustainability for you, I mean, do you feel like this is indicative of anything, or do you feel like it's okay? Great stuff tonight. Able to get off, a good morale booster. But let's get back to the training grounds and figure out some stuff.
Yeah, I think it's and we had maybe a previous conversation on this a little bit, right? It sort of speaks to the depth of the team, and if taking two players out because you have to give them a little bit of resting time, get them ready for the next match. Because they're just not match fit, or they can't go on to 90 minutes. Yes, we won in a very difficult way, and in the very last minute, right? If you have to go in with that team for all 90 minutes, what's the result gonna look like? And if we have an injury in the future, hopefully not, right? With Almada coming out, or Araujo, or say both, and this is the team that we're going on for a couple of games for 90 minutes plus, I don't know that it's very sustainable for us, right? Not maybe getting some ties off, but I don't know that we can really win games like this. Sure, some great energy at the end, but I don't think it didn't look like it's the type of energy that you can continue for 90 minutes in a game. And to me, that's not a very sustainable system. It's from a midfield standpoint, we definitely need to be a little bit more pressing. You can't allow mistakes like that in the midfield. You can't allow mistakes like that where we're sort of moving the ball, but we just can't hold it for a couple more seconds to allow a better pass, and then you filter it back. A beautiful through pass. I mean, just those kind of little mistakes. It's not gonna help with the sustainability of the team.
Yeah.
Like none of that. Yeah, man. I don't know. I can't really say much about what's going to happen in the future, because obviously with Almada and Araujo, it's a whole different ball game, right? It's a whole different team. But you can't just rely on a couple of players. I mean, unfortunately, most teams sort of do, but not if you want a consistent season with consistent points. And I mean, we're in a third spot right now in a conference, but for how long?
And that is the great point, is for how long, if we go for long spurts in matches at home looking like this, even if we have fixture congestion, even if, yes, we have a bunch of players taken off, it's still, like, you need to inspire some confidence within the fans as well. And yeah, this is not a match that really does that for, I think, many fans. But, yeah, hang on here. We have some stuff in the chat. Yeah, what's the deal with all the underhit passes, says Sebastian. Could there have been a turf issue? That's the thing. What do you think? Is there a turf issue, or is that just, mistakes?
I don't know, man. The way it looked to me, if I had seen people slipping around, people misstepping a little bit more, different mistakes on their end as well, you could say it's a turf issue, but it was straight giveaway from us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really call that a turf issue. When you spin around and you give your back to the other player and you feel a little bit of their presence and the pressure, and you decide to push that ball back, and you call it a little bump maybe on the way to your player, but no, it was straight to the other player, so that's sort of tough to justify for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's that too. This is your home pitch, so it's not like they are drying out the field or something, or it's played to how you normally play it on the training grounds, and so there's no excuses. I feel like it's got to be, Ibarra just came on, not switched on completely, probably isn't in the game speed. And he plays a little scared there, and he gives it straight to a Chicago Fire player to do damage, and that's just that just ain't good enough.
It was a great pass though.
If it really if he was meaning to do it on the other side, beautiful vision, but no, really, yes, really horrendous, But yeah, any final thoughts on this match?
No, man. Just to close out, again, we're fans. Just thinking through, and we'll keep supporting, of course. But we also want to see good games. We want to see fun games. And a big part of that is also the atmosphere, and for them to continue keeping that lively and level of Atlanta atmosphere that we know them to have. The team also has to perform, right? And yes, it was an exciting game because there was a last-minute goal, and there was action consistently throughout, even if it was against Atlanta. But that's also not very sustainable for a good, growing fan base that wants to continue watching these fun games that we know Atlanta can do, and the quality of the players. So. I'm just hoping the next match is going to be better. It's going to be with the same intensity that we finished in the last 2 minutes, but for the entirety of the game, right? And again, I only speak from the 40 minutes towards the end that I saw, and it was very much against Atlanta, so it wasn't a great 40 minutes for me, but, maybe the first half was a little bit better than that, and that sort of makes up for some of that, right? But, I think the team just needs to be a little bit more cohesive in how they go into the next game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's great points, man. It's definitely good to hear your insights on the game that you did watch, in that sense of the 40 minutes, and but I think it's very telling, because that first half, while it was a little bit different in possession, it still didn't exert a whole ton of control from Atl United. We didn't seem completely where everything was going our way, and we're just imposing ourselves on the other team, putting them to the sword. No, it was very much, it was 1-0 early, and then we get complacent a little bit, and we're allowing them some chances here, some half chances that if they had a better striker, if they had just a better clinical strike force, it's a whole different game. So, but yeah, cheers. Thank you for your thoughts. I guess let's bring it back to Michael. And,
bye, y'all.
See ya.
All right.
So
it's my birthday. Atlanta United won. We're all hyped here. Let's go.
Indeed. And you know what? if you take 3 points for your birthday or you don't have 3 points, I think you'd rather take this this result versus going home.
Despite how at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Despite how to play it out.
Call the commissioner so they can play the game.
I know, right?
That's right. That's right. I got pool down here.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, yeah, it seems so, man. Like, but all right. So the chat also says from M level 10 or Level, I guess. But yeah, we lost the battle in midfield. We'd like to know stats on duels lost, won in midfield. Yeah, I think it is curious. It is curious what midfield-wise numbers look like, because I have an inkling that you're right. I feel like we do lose a lot of our midfield battles, and while Santiago Sosa can really help in possession, he's not always winning every single interception or just defensively every single thing you need that maybe a Franco Ibarra does. But Franco Ibarra, you saw him not in game speed, and this is what this is what can happen, is that you have a player that plays a little timid, and then shoot, Chicago's off to the races, and it's a scoreline that doesn't favor us going into the dying minutes, but we're able to do something about it, which is good enough for today, but maybe not good enough for the bigger picture. But yeah, we didn't really get your I guess bigger opinions about this match, and in terms of like I guess the specifics on any player that stood out to you that maybe there's something that we can extrapolate from their performance tonight to give us a little bit more promise for any of the future games.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Brooks Lennon's contributions this game. I think a lot of his crosses, a lot of his service, that getting to the touchline and just passing it with the cut back to Giakoumakis. I mean, that's telltale of what we need. That's what we need. It's what we've needed. AJ can tell you, I've been yelling about us needing a player or a mentality of we need our team being on the same page of wanting to do cutbacks more often, because that is such a lethal thing in the MLS. It's such a lethal thing in soccer in general, because it just puts the defense on their butts when you have that third runner coming in and all of a sudden blast, and you get the speed, the inertia plus the amount of the pass that was going on the ball.
Ooh, get it scientific.
Yeah, very scientific. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, man, like that. And
throwing that I word out here, inertia.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like what always happens is you see it on the TV, like the third runner always comes from outside the view of the screen.
Super
so
hard
it's
to
like
track.
You see the ball going, and there's no one there, and it's just rolling, and you're like, oh no, someone's coming.
Someone is coming.
And then you just come right on the screen, they blast it, and it goes right into the roof, and you're like, oh my god. And it's usually against Atlanta when that happens. This is why I've been screaming to do cutbacks for forever.
Yep.
So finally, we get one of those, of a sort, of a kind. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, so Brooks Lennon with that assist play, he was doing a lot of good service too. He's always the workhorse that we need. And Gutman had a bit of a rough game. Maybe that's him just coming back from his knock, but he's still, he's also a workhorse. Ibarra had a freaking howler of a game. I don't know what happened with that. I guess, like you said, it's the not being up to game speed. That's uncharacteristic of him. That's not someone who does that very typically.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not expecting him to continue to do those kinds of giant mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to expect oh man, we need to be worried about Ibarra from going, here on. So, Giakoumakis continues to score 5 of 5. I want to know if anyone in chat or if anyone wants to do the research. What's the record?
The record is Taylor Twellman, 6 and 6.
6 and 6. Well, he's catching. He's gonna catch. Yeah. He's one game from tying and 2 from beating, and I think he might be able to beat it.
So.
Well, Nashville is the next league game.
Yeah, exactly. So great conversation from the outside of this you and me conversation, but yes, it's exactly that. It's does he start against Nashville, or if he starts in the U.S. Open Cup? Yeah, right.
And we're back.
And we're back. Exactly. We're just gonna pass it around like it's the '70s show. But yeah. So except we're outside and it's a lot more airy and it's not a dingy basement. I'm in the dingy basement, but you guys are out in the beautiful weather. But but yeah.
Hey,
So
at least we don't got the mosquitoes over there.
oh yeah, I know they be eating me up. They love my blood, but.
Oh yeah, they're out here.
I know, yeah. Thankfully,
So much blood.
yeah, right. But yeah. So I mean, in terms of the question, if you remember it, if you want to speak to it.
I didn't hear the question, man. Mike was
Okay.
walking around a little bit, so.
Oh, you're
repeat
okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember the question. I think we bantered so much I've already forgot it. But but in terms of Atlanta United and no, I don't have the question anymore. But feel free to give your thoughts right now as I take a sip of water.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, one thing I just want to mention is the goalkeeper. I don't know if anybody already talked about this or mentioned it a little earlier, but to me, kind of coming in as a sub and as I understand, and being able to put on the display for those last 40 minutes where they were getting heckled and pressured, and Chicago was walking in like it was their kitchen, it was their home, and being able to at least provide solid work in the back line, because you were losing out that midfield battle, you were losing out in the defense, you were just letting them through, you were letting them make those runs in, cross the ball in. It's a good display. It's good to know that at least on a goalkeeper standpoint, we do have that depth, and a team is never complete without that solid goalkeeper in the back, right? Because if the defense, the last line of defense, if the defense fails, which they will per game, right? I mean, you want to have somebody that's solid back there. And just knowing that your sub goalie also can provide that solidity to the back line, it's a great, to me that's a good plus and positive that came out of this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it is that. Yeah, knowing that, okay, beyond Westberg, who was the second string, we have Job as the third string, and he was able to pull off some really strong saves, and really keep us morale in the game, because that's the thing too. If the ball goes into the back of the net from a Chicago player, even if it's offside, it gives them that confidence. And I think that's what we were able to do, was keep them out of the back of the net, seeing the ball hit the back of the net. It definitely helped gain that momentum so that we were able to get that winner, I think. And it's good enough tonight. So we'll see. And we'll see how bad that injury is to Westberg as well. I mean, Wednesday, if we pretty much have to call on an Atlanta United 2, goalkeeper, maybe for the backup. I mean, it's not ideal. Definitely not ideal. And yeah, I guess it's something that we'll wait to see. But you have any other thoughts, Ellie?
Not specifically about the entirety of the game, but just. I hope Wednesday we come out with a win, and the next game that we have the following week, it's hopefully something that like I mentioned, that we can continue with good momentum, because I mean the season's still a long way through, and it's not good enough right now to just be or to settle in a third place position, knowing that we can still make playoffs. But it's Atlanta, man.
and it's also this with the rumors of Thiago Almada being rumored with teams in Europe, we probably need to prioritize getting as many points as we can while we have him in the side, because
coming close, man.
Yeah, the future is unknown. We have no idea what it really holds for us, because yeah, I think to some degrees we built this team around Thiago Almada, and when you don't have Thiago Almada, I think we've seen how it can be like, okay, we can hold off, on the road, but when you're at home, yeah, you absolutely need all your killers, and yeah, I mean, we'll find out, I guess, but I guess yeah, if you want to pass it around, anybody else that over there wants to speak.
Bring it back here.
All right, bring me back to Danny. But yeah, I mean, we going forward with this this team that, I mean, our front four looks pretty dangerous. The back line, we have some options that are pretty decent. Midfield, we have a number of players, and the goalkeeper core as well looks to be pretty solid in terms of MLS experience. Is there a weakness to this side to you that maybe in the summer transfer window we need to bring in somebody to help fill out some of those gaps?
Yeah, and I was just thinking about that. Best way to address that is get yourself a veteran player back there in the back line. I mean, whether you play a 4-man, 5-man, 3-man, doesn't matter. You need a veteran guy that can direct guys, that can yell at them, right. The problem is Brad is probably their guy that does that because he's the goalkeeper. He's watching the field. He's their most veteran player. He's played for the national team. So you have that experience back there. Now that he's gone, you need somebody that's going to step up, that's going to make those plays, that's going to direct the players, that's going to guide everybody. In that backfield, that's the most important part, I think, of any defense, is to have a veteran guy that knows what he's talking about, knows what he's doing, that's able to yell at guys, isn't scared, he's not timid, very vocal. Because Atlanta does not have that right now. They don't have that at all. They don't have that number 5 back there. They don't have a Puyol. They don't have a Van Dijk. They don't have those guys. So Atlanta's number 1 priority right now is get yourself a veteran player in that back line that can help your defense, boost your defense, and help guide these guys, because it's just ridiculous how lost they look when they play. Chicago should have never had an opportunity, very least a goal. They should have never had that goal. Why? Because they just lack that discipline. They don't have that structure. They don't have that veteran player that could guide them. So for me, whenever they could get their hands on a guy like that, do it. Jump on him. Pay him whatever he asks for. You need to get a guy back there, because midfield up, you're good. You have a golden boy that's striking, that's making goals every game. A solid midfield that's creating opportunities, pushing the ball forward. But that defense side of the ball, it's very lackluster. He was atrocious. There's no other word that I could use for how they played today. It was atrocious. That back pass. That back pass, come on. One thing that I've learned playing soccer, especially playing defense, don't pass it back. Unless you absolutely have to, the ball never goes back. You kick it out, you kick it to the other side, you do whatever you got to do, but don't pass it back. Because it is very dangerous. You can make a mistake, and you see it all the time. And it doesn't make sense to me how they do that. To me, that lets me know is that inexperience, that lack of training, that lack of mentality, the focus in the game. Trust me, a veteran guy is very well needed in this Atlanta team. I think that if you add that to this team, I think they could go far. I think they could win more games, more cups, more titles. Because they're a complete team. What else are they missing? They have good goalkeepers. They have a good attacking front. They have a good midfield. It's just the defense.
And yes, I think it's really interesting points. And the chat also agrees with you a little bit, or asked this question. of who do you guys feel is the vocal leader on the pitch while Guzan is out? Seems like there isn't anyone that lights a fire under their teammates when it needs to be lit. And I think, yeah, you have...
It's got to be Yako. It's got to step and fill that role.
Yako,
Yeah,
interesting.
but with Yako up top, man.
Hey, I don't know if you have...
It's hard to follow a guy that's...
yeah.
He's got to be that guy who fires everyone up.
Right. I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's also hard to follow a guy that's on the ground every 2 minutes.
That's not typical for him, though.
Right, but it doesn't. It
That's not
doesn't.
typical.
Right, but it doesn't look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't look good.
And it's also this...
he's-
Yeah, he's new to the team. He's not a player that is going to set them up defensively either. It's, you know, you usually want a captain that's probably in, you know, the center back position or defensive midfielder position that can really, you know, organize and do all that. And so that's the thing. We do have some players that are sitting on the sidelines that, okay, while they are, you know, coming back from injury, but say like an Ozzy Alonso. That is coming back from his injury last season with his ACL tear. That might be somebody that you know, brings that MLS experience that we sorely need. But is he the answer? Really, actually, with his play, his performance, we'll find out because he hasn't played a minute this season, obviously. But that's the thing. You know, you have a couple of guys that are very experienced in Miles Robinson and Juanjo Porrata. I mean. And then you look at the back line as well, like Brooks Lennon, Andrew Gutman, or Caleb Wiley. You have guys that are good enough in this league, but what is it? You know, it's like there's just certain moments where they just can't keep it together. That those moments of madness that, you know, undo us in games. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's just. I mean, to be honest, that just shows the level of immaturity, the level of insecurity when you have, you know, I mean, look at the top leagues and look at the great teams, right? You look at Classic Barcelona, you look at Real Madrid, you look at all these teams and you look at their defense. I mean, you go any area, any period of time. I mean, you could name star defenders from those teams, and I'm telling you, you plug those guys into this Atlanta team, it's a completely different team. I mean, Puyol, Sergio Ramos. I mean, all these guys.
You know, we're talking about MLS though.
I'm not saying that you're gonna get those guys. That's not what I'm trying to. What I'm trying to say is what you want from those guys is. You want a guy that's vocal like them, that's rough like them, that's gonna go after the ball, that's gonna pour his heart and soul for the team, that's gonna go and say, hey, you're missing your man, you're missing your mark, you need to be here, you need to be there. That's gonna guide this team because that's all they're missing, that's all they need. That's what I'm trying to get to, is that they need that kind of player with that passion that has love for this team, just like those guys had love for their clubs. That's what we need here. And yes, we have good defenders. We really have good players, but they don't have the intensity. They don't have the love for the club as those guys do. And that's what they're lacking. And I know you were talking about kind of like, oh, what are they missing? That's what it is. That intensity, that love of the club, of the team, kind of just pour their blood, sweat, and tears into it. Because you could see it on the pitch. I mean, I don't have to tell you about it. The chat doesn't have to tell you. You just see it on the field, how they don't react to the ball. They don't run. They're
not playing for each other.
Let the other team play.
Yet.
Right. They're not a cohesive unit how it should be. So that's what I was saying. A veteran player would be a great addition. Doesn't have to be the best player. Doesn't have to be superstar from Europe. No, it could be somebody from within the league, but that has to have that intensity. Yeah. That has that fire within them that could light the fire and spark the fire in the other guys, right? And it's going to be a commander on the field that's going to, because your goalie should not be that guy. That's a problem. If your goalie is your leader on the team, your goalie is the guy that's rounding you guys up, that's an issue. Your goalie is stuck in the box. He's going to go up front and he's not going to come back. You know what I'm saying? He's in his box. So you need a defender or at least a defensive midfielder that could do that for you, you know? So if I'm Atlanta, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for whoever's in the market. I'm looking for whoever's going to become a free agent, is going to be open, or is up for sale. And that's who I go and get. Doesn't have to be an expensive guy. Doesn't even have to be a superstar. Just somebody that's going to be passionate and play for this team and wear the jersey proudly. Because that's all we're looking for. We want guys that are going to represent Atlanta and Atlanta United favorably. You know, we want somebody that's going to sweat the jersey, that's going to go out there every game and give it everything he has. And that's what we need. What do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely, you've named some amazing qualities in a player that we need. Now, that might be the hardest thing, is finding the heart of this team, which is what you're talking about. I mean, a player that basically will sweat for the badge. I mean, those things are usually built over time. Any of the players that you named, I mean, for instance, Carlos Puyo is a player that, you know, bred by Barcelona, bred to their playing style. I mean, Miles Robinson might be that guy to the degree of, like, you know, he's the in the back line. He's played for the badge since, you know, he's come into the league, and the problem is his contract is almost over, and so whether we keep him or not, that's another thing. Yes, M Level 10 says Nita Parky or Lorenowitz. Ellie Beeman says hoping Alonso gets healthy. Yeah, I mean, it is very much that. Bryant Lee, if we can go get a vet. Remember, he's asking for high pay. MLS is on cap salary. It's hard when we invest in young players. Agreed. It's all that. I mean, MLS, it's hard to get those type of players and get them to stay as well. I mean, that's the hardest part about MLS is, you know, keeping that that core team together when, yeah, we saw how we were picked apart right after we won the MLS Cup. Is, you know, how much change does happen from season to season that you don't usually see in other leagues, because it's just parity does exist here, and we that's something that we all have to fight in terms of as fans. Like, man, our favorite player this season might be gone in the middle of this season. So it's just a bit brutal, and it is what it is. But let's see. Okay, and also, yeah, Omar GS says we've been selling those type of players that bleed the jersey. Exactly. I mean, say who you're talking about, like an LGP would still probably rock on this this side. I think this side would play very well to someone who's got the qualities of LGP, but you might not think so. Who do you think of yesteryear might be somebody that you know, that could slot back in?
You mean like somebody from that played in this league, or
someone from our past that has played with us before? You know, because people are saying we need a Parky or a Lorenowitz, but I think, you know, you have a player right now that you know, still is playing at a very high level at River Plate, and, you know, whether he is a yellow card machine or not, he's someone that has heart. He's someone that, you know, with all these yellow cards, he was still able to, you know, help lead us to an MLS Cup. As maligned as LGP can be, I think we know this. Like, he's a winner. Like, he's proven it. He's helped us win silverware. So, yeah, anybody from the past that you feel like could, you know, help us in this back line?
Nobody really comes to mind, I guess, right now.
And that's okay. I mean, you know, because maybe
I honestly don't know who would fit well. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody's like, oh, bring this guy, bring that guy, but the dynamic of the team is very different. So you're gonna get a very different result from what you had before. You know, maybe it worked back then, but this team is a lot different from that team. I mean, that team was driven by, you know, this team's a completely different new scheme. You know, everything's different. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know who would work well. I mean, the chat might, you know, they might have some ideas, but it's just hard to say, really, to be honest. To be able to say, hey, get this guy, or this guy might fit.
Sure.
Maybe not, but
yeah, I mean, but somebody with the MLS experience like a Parkey or a Lorenowitz, yeah, those are the type of players that would work very well. You know, to kind of solidify what we need in terms of leadership. But Kevin McDowell, he says, LGP is the worst one-on-one defender, good passer of the ball, but that's it. I mean, I think we severely underrate LGP as a one-on-one defender, but I mean, I see what you're saying probably, but it's one of those, like, you know, you have Miles Robinson to be able to put out those fires one-on-one. I think that's what you need. You need somebody to be able to you know, provide that spark, especially on those walkabouts that LGP would have. Yes, he yeah, you know, he wanted to create something in the final third if we were looking stagnant and looking a little too static. But
and some of the guys that you have now, and I guess you can't really teach leadership, but you could kind of, you know, hey, you're make a you know, temporary captain or something like that. Help push him towards that direction.
Yeah.
And just bring him from the bottom. You know, hey, you're the captain for the next team. What are you gonna do, captain? You know, kind of force them to get out of their shell, because, like,
yeah,
I can hear the ball roll on the field, right? You know, it's quiet. That's bad. That's bad. So, like you said, nurture them to that level where they're going to be able to be a leader in the future, especially for this team that so desperately needs one. Somebody has to just, you know, fill in those shoes. Who is it going to be? And the door is open for anyone who's willing to, whoever's brave enough to step through that door. It's open. It's a great opportunity. And so I think that if they don't find somebody that can fill that role, maybe in-house, that would be a good option.
Okay, yeah. And well, Denny's, appreciate you. Let's bring Michael back on. We're gonna spin that wheel of forfeit.
Michael was having
so we can spin the wheel if you want, but I will remind you that Mark still has his forfeit needs to do that he hasn't been able to do this week.
Right.
So you can either hold off for next week, or we can double load it. It's up to you.
Right. I mean, yeah, we might, for entertainment's sake, let's roll it again. And if Mark has to do 2, he's got to do 2. I mean, we will just find out. But
it is what it is.
Yep. So I think, yeah, it might be better actually if you hop in here, because it's on your browser, right?
Yeah, I'll do that for you.
So let's go to the solo cam.
You can watch.
And
all right, we'll be here.
It'll be incredibly surreal for our friends out back, but the we will see Michael come in here. We will spin this wheel of forfeits. We have some fun ones for you this week as well, and hopefully I can stave off having to do it one more week. Hopefully so. But let's see. But yeah, Michael taking a sweet time. There we go. There we are. All right.
Long distance.
It is, isn't it?
Long distance.
Okay, so we'll do this.
Yeah, from the backyard to inside the house. It was a long walk.
Exactly right. All right. So yeah, we'll show our thing real quick, I guess. Is that how we've been doing it?
Yeah. So we'd go.
Yep. Do a little share skis.
You know, I was thinking about who they should put back there in the defense, and I think it should be me.
It should be, oh, of course. Of course
yeah,
it should be.
I would yell at everybody.
Experience, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we got the wheel going,
All right.
and
Let me do the second one.
we'll do a little spin skis after we do this bit here.
Let me just figure out what that was one of the.
Okay. Thank you for bearing with us.
Dying. My phone dying.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, Dennis, you guys are good now. We appreciate you. Much love to you. We
Same. Appreciate
All right.
being at it on here. I appreciate it, you guys.
absolutely, man, for sure. But yeah, all right. So we got the Wheel of Forfeit going. We got, of course, myself, Mike, and Mark, and we will spin this jazz. All right, here we go.
Click the little white ball.
Spin it.
Spinning it. Who we got?
No.
We got it's Mike again.
I've never seen it in my life.
Oh,
This game
dang.
is rigged.
Yeah, what is this?
Oh
It's on my
man.
computer and it's rigged.
Yep. I
Right.
mean, I've gone.
Okay, now
I've gone once. That's right.
Someone remote desktoped into my computer.
I know, right?
To fix this.
All right.
Ah,
Okay, so we got a number of things here. We got soccer skill challenge, drinking liquor, red ass game. We got spicy challenge and wear a rival kit. So what will it be tonight? You guys let us know what you
Mike,
want.
if it's a rival kit, you gotta wear a
In that
Chicago
chat.
Fire kit.
Oh, Chicago Fire Kit, says Denny's. So we'll find out.
I'll
But
borrow his.
yeah, you'll just borrow. That makes it easy. Actually, that's too easy. But anyway, we'll spin it. Let us see.
I got a Bears jersey. I don't have a Fire jersey.
It is wear a rival kit.
Okay.
Alrighty then. So I mean, yeah, we could do the Chicago Fire kit, or it must be Orlando to a degree too. Either way.
You know anyone who knows Orlando?
I surely don't. Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard, but Michael asked, you know anybody with an Orlando City kit? I mean, nope. But that's okay. But yeah, here we are. We, yep, what he's got to deal with. You know, it's biased, but
Mike, whose Fires are you?
it's all good.
I'm gonna buy
Like-
it for him.
I know, right? But man, but guys, yes, it was the Wheel of Torture, Wheel of Forfeit, whatever you want to call it. But either way, Michael Weiss has to do it again. And but
4 out of 6. So
yeah, 4 of the 6, man. Yeah, that the odds are ever in your favor, man. They're you
Get all
know,
my bad luck out on this.
it should be, I guess. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna pick more torturous things in the future. So it may be worse for us yet that haven't gone as many times. We'll find out. But you know,
Put your suggestions for torturous things in the chat.
within reason. Yeah, M Level says Orlando Kid.
Without
That's
reason.
too far.
Outside of reason.
Can we make the chat vote for which one he should wear?
We can. Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah, Charlotte Kits and somebody. Bryant.
I have Discord, but I don't have the stuff on my phone.
Yeah, you need to hop into the actual YouTube stream to actually chat in there. But so yeah, we have an Orlando kit so far. We have a Charlotte kit. I mean, we go Nashville as well. But I think those are the 3
I'm
that
gonna
make.
start a GoFundMe for.
I know, right?
for
We might need to just to be able to, because in terms of paying for this, I don't know about all that. That's
Not authentic replica.
yeah, exactly. We're gonna not even replica. It's like, where can we get a knockoff one?
I know what to do.
So
I'm
the-
gonna get a white T-shirt. I'm gonna take a Sharpie and write Orlando
Yeah.
on it.
Or oh no, come on, come on. At least get a purple shirt at the very least. But no, so far we have 3 Orlando. Nightmare says eBay. This is a thing. This is completely throwing money away. Like, but torture, eat spicy pepper, says Bryant Lee. I mean, we didn't do a pepper last time.
We didn't do a pepper.
I mean, if we're wanting to renege on this and change it out, or if you guys can help us get there to the point that we can afford these type of, you know, forfeits where we are buying a rival's kit, that's quite a thing, actually. Yeah, we probably were a little too lofty on that one, maybe, but
I'll
Oh well.
figure it out.
Yeah. Yes, we'll figure something out. It maybe if he wears a purple shirt, he has to eat a spicy pepper.
I'll figure it out. We'll be all right.
He seems thrilled with the idea. So, but
I did so well with the other spicy thing. So
yeah, indeed. But anyway, so pretty much that I think is the episode. I mean, you guys, love you guys for hanging out. Much love. And ultimately, yeah, you know, we get the 3 points on a night that didn't really look like we did, and didn't look like we should deserve it. Brian Lee says yes, spicy pepper is definitely cheaper. Yes, agreed. Unless, I mean, if there was an $80, $100 hot sauce or pepper, I don't know. Joseph Miami jersey. Oh, that's a decent shout. That's a decent shout, actually. But Ingest, yes, thanks for the show as well. Yes, Elliot Beeman with a laughing Hulk face. Either way, gentlemen, ladies, yeah, we got some more love from the backyard coming in. But yes, we love you. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. That was Michael. Those were a bunch of the lovely people out in the backyard. I've been AJ. We love you. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next video. Bye bye.